Hi everyone, this is Jen from I Can Make That, and today I want to show you some things with the Cricut machine. People have asked me a lot of questions about how to use the Cricut, and this is the Cricut Explore that I'm working with. However, the Cricut Explore and the Explore Air and the Explore Air 2 are all the same machine with only a very slight difference. One of them is the Bluetooth is built in, and then on the Air 2 it can cut twice as fast. That's really the only difference. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to cut something that is just slightly bigger than 12, what the machine thinks is 12 inches. This is something that a lot of people find very frustrating. So all I'm going to do is put a shape on here just to give you an idea of how this would work. Right now I've pulled this to almost 12 inches. I'm going to unlock this to show you what happens when you got it just a little bit too close to 12 inches. You want to cut something as big as possible on your mat, and the machine is telling you that it's not going to work. It's too big. You need to reduce the image size. And you're looking at it saying it's within the 12 by 12 inches, so I don't really want to make it smaller. Here's a trick you can use to work around that. So right now this image is within the 12 inches, and it's within the 12 inches this way. And I'm going to go ahead and hit Make It. Replace my old project. And now it brings up this message, larger mat required, one is too big. Now in this case it's asking me, would you like to use a 12 by 24 inch mat? And let's say you don't have one. I wouldn't worry about it. Go ahead and say okay on that, because you can still put in a 12 by 12 inch mat and it's still going to cut it on a 12 by 12 inch mat, and the rest of this isn't going to matter. So go ahead and just run it on your regular 12 by 12 inch mat and it'll be fine. You can also do the same thing with changing the size here where it says material size. If you wanted to, you could make it a 12 by 19 mat as well, which isn't a real mat size, but what the 12 by 19 is the size of your Cricut iron-on images. That is the size of the roll of iron-on. So it gives you a 12 by 19 size in case you're working with cutting out the iron-on vinyl. But you can always mess with the size and still run it on that 12 by 12 inch mat. So there is a tip for you if you get an image to be just about the right size. Now, of course, you might decide that what you're trying to do is cut something that's a little bit too wide. If you do go over that mark and you're past 12 by 12, you're going to have to slice your image. It's the only way around that. So if you had to have a box that was this size, you can cut parts of the image. Let's give a bit better example here. Instead, I'm going to bring in an image. And I'm going to bring in something like a Mickey Mouse. It's going to bring up a bunch of images that I have. So let's just say I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to lock it so he stays proportional. I'm going to move this. And now maybe I needed to make an 18-inch Mickey. You are going to want to watch things like how big and how wide it is. In this case, I see a 12-inch mark down here. To make my life a little bit easier, I would want to normally, shrink that and keep it no bigger than 12. But for this example, let's say I absolutely have to have it be bigger than that. So now I've run it over the 12 by 12 inch mark here. I'm within 24 inches from side to side. So what I need to do is slice something on this image so it will put it on another page. Now looking at this, I could cut down here, but if I do that, I'm going to have to cut 2 layers and glue them back together. If I just cut his ear, that will work and I won't have to do quite as much piecing together later. So what you would do is go in and put any kind of shape. I'm going to just pick a circle. A circle is nice and easy. I'm going to run that circle over Mickey. Now if I were to go ahead and try to slice this right now, it's not going to work because he's all grouped together. What I have to do is ungroup my image So you go under Actions, Ungroup, and I just want my black layer. I'm going to pull the black layer out. I'm going to shrink my whole thing down some here. Now once I have my black layer separate, I can now put the ear on top. I can select these two, and then when I go to Actions, I can hit Slice, and it's going to let me do that. So it did slice it. I'm going to click on this here and get rid of it. What I'm left with is the original ear. It is separate now, and I'm going to undo that. What you want to do then is group it back together, and you can actually send it to back, because once you've grouped and you've sliced something, it brings that whole image to the front. So you're going to need to go to Edit and to Arrange and move it to the back. Now you can slide this behind here. Now this red image here, you probably don't need. I would just get rid of that. And now I have this here. Now if I go back to this whole image, drag over it, and I want to group it. Mickey's all back together again, but the machine knows that this part of the image is different than the rest. Now if I hit Make It, it's saying it's too large for a 12 by 24 inch mat. Alright, so if that happens again, you need to go back and take a look at what else might be too close to the edge. You could at this point reduce it just slightly. It's still over a 12 by 24 this way. But it should work. Let's see. Make it. Still thinks it's too big. So you'll have to go back in. At that point, you need to look at where exactly it's too big. It might be that I need more gone here. So I could go back in, ungroup, and reslice it again to get it to the right width. But that is how you would do it if you're trying to slice an image and get it to fit on a mat. And I hope that helps.